On this, recently, ISAAW brought together a virtual panel discussion on the economic impact of the pandemic on South Asians and other communities of color and the path to move forward to help small businesses, which are the backbone of the economy. Here are some highlights from the virtual panel discussion.
Tonight, we will be learning about the economic impact of COVID, but a little bit about ISAAW first. ISAAW was founded in 2017 to create a platform for South Asian American women interested in greater civic engagement. At ISAAW, we are driven by a single mission to empower South Asian American women effect change in their communities. As part of our mission, we strive to increase awareness on issues impacting South Asian American women. We help mobilize South Asian American women to increase their involvement in public service. Now, coming to tonight's focus, the coronavirus 2019 COVID-19 pandemic has created both a public health crisis and an economic crisis in the United States. The pandemic has disrupted lives, created a global economic slowdown. It has been claimed that more than 3 times the American lives that were lost in the Vietnam War have been lost due to this virus. According to researchers, the economic crisis is unprecedented in its scale. The pandemic has created a demand shock, a supply shock, and a financial shock all at once.
I would like to think that, or hope rather, that due to everybody being able to get the vaccine and being safer and being able to expose themselves, of course, still taking precautions, in public environments, that there will be an increase in business and sales, that the market picks up. I think right now we're in that kind of phase where we don't know exactly what's going to happen. So it's a guessing game for everybody. I think with the new stimulus package that was just passed, hopefully that will also help. I'm sure there's a lot of new things in there. I'm still looking into it myself to see what there is, but hopefully there will be things in there that will be helping people to gear up their businesses, help them to move forward through this. I'm hoping that the worst of the worst is behind us. I know, Jonathan, you mentioned that maybe there might be another slowdown or something that happens with regards to the market, which is possible as well. But I think right now people are in that stage where if they're able to, they want to take advantage of the low interest rates because they don't know what's going to happen with that. People are itching to travel and, go places once they get their vaccines. And so I hope that that's something that will, become a positive and lead to better things in the future.
I'm going to 110% endorse that view. I don't, one thing we've seen is those who don't need assistance but have received it have essentially been saving that money. And then those who need it have been spending it. So it's, the money is multiplying through the economy already, but there's also a pretty substantial chunk of that isn't. Mm-hmm. And it's also likely, what President Biden has been pretty clear about is that the American Rescue Plan is part one. And supposedly there's an American, I think, recovery plan that I thought he was supposed to announce in February, but it's now mid-March, which is supposed to be more infrastructure based. So that's also going to have if that passes, that's also going to have a pretty heavy impact on whatever a recovery winds up looking like. That said, if we're talking in the economic side, I can't say that this is going to happen in 2021 or who knows when. All I'm going to say is that it's going to be heavily dependent on how well people take to their personal responsibility to get themselves vaccinated and to slow the spread through other means until we can reach some level of widespread vaccination. But if all goes well with the way the monetary system looks set up, potential even more assistance on the way. If everyone does their part, it's not a stretch to just remind everyone that the Roaring '20s followed the Spanish flu.
Right. This has been, and Pinky, any last thoughts on your prediction?
No, and I agree with, you both said it so eloquently, and I 100% agree that I think there is, light at the end of this tunnel for all of us. And you just hear conversations of folks that are talking about the vaccinations and those that have gotten, and you hear an air of of optimism in the folks that have gotten vaccinated already. So you see that they're feeling more comfortable. So I do see that. I think for when it comes to the economics of all of this, that we should see improvements. And as people have just gotten adjusted and made whatever changes they needed to their businesses, right? There's more people that are, there was that stage of denial, right? Whenever something happened. So there was that, people have gotten past that, and those have gotten into the place of, okay, it's time to head down and figure this out and take some action. So I think we're in that place for a lot of people. So simply because of that alone, I think we're also going to just see some great recovery coming our way. So that's what I'm hoping for our economy and for everyone around here.
I think that's a perfect place to end the panel on such a fantastic, happy, positive note. I hope that the fates listen to all three of you, and 2022 becomes our own roaring 20s, if you will, without the Great Depression after that. But I just wanted to thank all of you for an incredibly informative, helpful panel discussion. COVID-19's impact, economic impact on women has been extraordinary, and it has been exceptionally impactful for small business owners, oftentimes who are women who work out of their homes. And having this sort of conversation, I hope, gives our viewers a roadmap, and it gives them hope and a roadmap as to the relief efforts that are underway and the options they have to give them hope that this pandemic is not is not a deal killer, if you will, that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and there are options for our community, especially, and women in general, to take advantage of. I think this particular demographic, and I speak about women, tend to sort of be the last, if you will, to be served. And having this roadmap is very helpful. And as Pinky eloquently put it, the South Asian community in particular feels a sense, there's a cultural sort of nuance to the impact that they've felt. And I hope this panel discussion has given them a clear roadmap about ways to get back on their feet. Thank you all for an exceptionally wonderful panel discussion.